Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Rooted Lifestyle Podcast. We are your hosts, Camryn and Justus Woods.
Hello, everyone.
We're happy to have you guys here for another week of talking about things that we're passionate about. So this week's a little different. We're talking about alcohol, which is very interesting. There's a lot of people that try to talk about pros of alcohol, trying to make it healthy.
Yeah.
Lots of cons with alcohol, but I enjoy alcohol, like in a moderate amount.
But it's not healthy. We'll just get that out of the way right now. People who
Right.
try to make the argument that alcohol is healthy, it's not.
But
we're
it's
not.
a toxin.
Yeah, but we're not here to ridicule and say you should never drink because we do.
I will fully drink probably tomorrow. Like it's super chill. But we're excited to talk about it because we've done a lot of research through a lot of other people. We've listened to podcasts. We've looked into databases, all of those good things. So we're excited, but like Justus said, we're not here to say you should never drink again. We just want you guys to understand kind of what happens to your body when you're drinking because it's very fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. And, we're going to be talking about the difference. I think the key thing is the difference between moderate and excessive drinking. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of the data that we've seen or a lot of the studies that we've read have shown about just the key area there is the difference between moderate drinking and excessive drinking. So, yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I'm honestly, I will raise my hand and say I'm not a avid drinker. I just don't like the taste of alcohol.
And that's totally fine.
I don't know. What's your favorite drink?
Oh,
margaritas.
I know you're asking for the listeners.
Movement and margaritas. You can guess what her favorite.
Those are my happy places. And you. Movement, margaritas, and Justus.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, margs are my favorite, but I could also go for a frosé. I love a frosé.
I like frozen margs.
You like frozen drinks?
I like the Miami Vices, strawberry daiquiri, like those ones.
Fruity little drinks. No, they're good. It's
the sugary,
straight sugar and toxins.
That's why I don't like. I like them because I can't taste the alcohol. So
that's the goal. I mean, alcohol doesn't taste good. If you think alcohol
some
genuinely tastes, I think I know some people that do.
A couple people like it.
Yeah, for sure, and good for them. Honestly, I can't handle that. But anyways, you were talking about the threshold between moderate to intense or high drinking. Talk a little bit about that.
So according to the Mayo Clinic, the threshold or the level of like moderate drinking for women is about 1 to 2 drinks per day. And for men, it's about 2 to 3. So you could put that to a week. It'll be about 7 drinks a week for women and 14 drinks for men, which is actually a lot.
Moderate, like that's...
Moderate is like you're good.
Chill?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I mean,
that's according to what it says. But I was reading that and I was like 14 drinks a week.
You got to get on it, Justus.
Like I'm 14 drinks behind that.
You are. Justus might have a drink. We'll talk about it later, but he might have a drink if I'm like, drink with me. Like I'm bored drinking by myself.
I think, we don't actually have like any alcohol in this house.
We have a stocked bar of
San Pellegrino.
Yeah.
So maybe you have to
glass. We love it.
If they come out saying that San Pellegrino is bad, then.
Yeah, with all the PFASs or whatever. Okay, that's besides the point. So moderate, 1 to 3 for women, 1 to 2 for women.
1 to 2 for women.
2 to 3 for men.
2 to 3 per men a day. So like high risk is having more than 3 drinks in a given day, more than 7 drinks per week if you're a woman, and more than 14 if you're a man. And obviously genetics play a huge factor in that. Your age plays a huge factor, strong family history of alcoholism and stuff. So those are kind of just what they've seen based upon just the average like man and woman. But obviously there's a lot of different things that can play a factor in that.
Absolutely. And it's hard because obviously, like you said, they've done a ton of studies and stuff, but you don't know how those people ate 10 years ago.
And
you
that's
don't know
the
how they're
hard
eating
thing.
Now. You don't know anything like that.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing because a lot of studies that you do, like it's so hard to control for that study to take away all of those different aspects of somebody's like their diet, like their exercise.
You have to raise the person
exactly
from birth and like know their bloodline. I don't know. It's just crazy, but it's really cool that we can at least have some studies to base it off of. But know that you could be an exception. I could be an exception. Anything like that.
Exactly. So, kind of talking about that, we can go into the effects, and like we said before, these are just things that we've read about what alcohol can do. Doesn't mean that it'll do it to you immediately. And like we've told you, kind of that moderate 1 to 2 for women, 2 to 3 for men. They've seen that these effects aren't as strong. I mean, I'm sure that there may be some effects with it, but
like we said, it depends on your diet,
your activity
level.
It depends on a lot of different things. So,
genetics, all those things.
But we're not here to just like say stop drinking alcohol, but it's important to be aware of what alcohol actually is and what it does to your body.
Yeah. So true. So the first thing that we want to talk about of an effect that it has on your body is the gut liver, like what it does to your gut, what it does to your liver. And this is something that Justus told me about, that it can cause leaky gut, which is just like little breaks in your gut lining, and it's really bad and causes a lot of bowel issues, a lot of tummy issues for a lot of people. Wow, tummy, that's a funny word. But if you are drinking at more of a high risk rate, that can cause serious inflammation in your gut. And inflammation in the body is just never a good thing. That can come out as acne, it can come out as stomach issues, it can come out as weight gain, it can come out as many, many things. But like we said, leaky gut, organ dysfunction, destroying the good bacteria in your gut lining, which is crazy because we have good and bad bacteria, obviously. The good bacteria is in your gut to help like flush out the bad bacteria. So it's kind of like antibiotics. It just kills everything, which is kind of scary because you need the good bacteria.
Yeah. And not only does it destroy the good bacteria, but it also allows the bad bacteria to move from your gut into your bloodstream and travel to different parts of your body and brain, which is absolutely terrifying.
Well, I'm alive. And so are you. Thank goodness. But and just your liver. I mean, you guys know the effects that it can have on your liver because your poor liver is just trying to work hard and cleanse and keep it all straight. But alcohol is a toxin. Yeah.
And speaking of the brain, what I had mentioned earlier, everyone knows that alcohol has an effect on your brain because it's one of the only substances that actually crosses the blood-brain barrier, and we won't go into detail about that, but
it's fascinating.
All you need to know is that it's bad when you cross the blood-brain barrier.
You only want good things crossing.
Yeah, you only want the good things crossing it. And it actually, and it's interesting. I read this. The alcohol actually creates a system in your brain, like where the neural system in your brain causes you. It like causes you to want to drink more, basically, which is crazy. Yeah, it messes with the neural system in your brain that like basically shuts off. More. Yeah, it just it forces you to want more. That's why like when you start drinking, you're fine with keeping on drinking. I was about to
say your stomach might hurt from like things you ate before, but like my stomach is never like, oh, I'm full or I'm done. It's just kind of like, oh, let's get another drink. Why not?
Yeah, it creates like a desire for you to want to drink more, which makes sense. Like if you have one or two drinks, like the drinks you drink, it goes down easier. Like it doesn't feel the same.
You're numb.
Yeah, and it further exacerbates like the inflammation in your brain and your body. And we all know it impacts memory, a lot of different things. So when it comes to your brain, alcohol is not a good thing at all.
And it kills cells. It kills brain cells, which is crazy. So the next thing, immune system. So like I said before, alcohol causes inflammation in the gut, but it also causes inflammation all in the body because, like we said, it's a toxin, so it makes sense. But that results in your immune system being lower than average. And I already have a low immune system, so kind of stinks for me. But for your average person who doesn't necessarily, after drinking, your immune system is low. So you may be really, really tired, exhausted. You might start feeling sick. You might notice that you get sick easier. Think about a long weekend that you went on and you were drinking like crazy. And then you come home, you're probably sick. You didn't sleep.
I think that's why I've gotten sick on like every trip that I've been on. Like coming back from bachelor parties, being sick. No, it
makes sense. And everyone's always just like, oh, haha, just tired. And I'm like, well, yes, but also it's crazy because it's the alcohol lowering your immune system.
And it's like a mix of you being... And you're probably in environments where you're exposed to a lot of different types of like bacteria and stuff, just at bars with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Plus the alcohol, that's just not a good recipe for your immune system.
Absolutely. So you're just fatigued after a long night of drinking and you could get sick and things like that. But dehydration is also a result from drinking excessively. You wake up the next morning, you may think you're hungover, or you may be hungover and you're just severely dehydrated. But that can aggravate inflammation when consuming, or dehydration can aggravate inflammation when consuming alcohol because it is suppressing the release of the hormone called vasopressin, which I'd never heard of, but that is produced by the brain and it sends signals to the kidneys, causing them to retain fluid. So it's increasing urination and allowing the excess loss of fluid, which makes sense when you wake up and you're severely dehydrated, which stinks. But a lot of people drink a ton of electrolytes the next day. Stay away from coffee because caffeine dehydrates you as well. And electrolytes, they're great because they contain things like all the minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium, which allow the body to regulate your fluid levels. So very important.
Yeah, and that's something too. The immune system was something that I didn't even know it impacted. You usually just think about the effects. When you're usually talking about alcohol, everybody says like, oh, like everybody knows that alcohol is bad for you, but I think it's more so just talked about obviously like how it affects your brain, which is probably like probably the most important.
Probably.
But also just thinking about how it affects other systems of your body, like your immune system and your gut. It's like,
yeah, people just think of like it either makes my stomach hurt,
exactly,
or it makes me just not remember things.
But no, it's actually like damaging you.
But it's actually internally like, whoa, that's really scary.
And I think this is important too, just because in light of like what we talk about on our podcast and how alcohol impacts like your fitness goals and progress in the gym. And they're kind of mixed studies on the, like what we were saying before, on the effects that alcohol has on like weight gain, muscle loss. And there are a number of factors, like we said, age, diet, how often you work out to consider. When reading these studies about like alcohol and how it can add on more fat, or it allows you to gain more weight, things like that. Ultimately, like we said, alcohol is a toxin. So your liver focuses its energy on metabolizing the alcohol to non-toxic components rather than metabolizing the fat in your body.
Yeah.
So instead of working hard to metabolize your fat, it's trying to metabolize the alcohol, so your body just stores more fat.
Right. It's like all the foods you've eaten, all the things like that, all the calories you've consumed from drinking.
Exactly.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you said calories, because a lot of people say that alcohol is empty calories, and a lot of people, or at least I didn't know exactly what an empty calorie was, because we just think about calories as like you're eating carbs and stuff like that, whatever number it is on the back of a box. But the alcohol calories, the calories in alcohol are not converted into glycogen. And glycogen is what a lot of the other calories in the food that you eat get converted into.
Right.
And it's the form that your body stores that uses energy to like for you to like work out and do things like that. But the carbs in alcohol actually can't be converted to glycogen. Yeah. So empty calories, meaning that your body can't even use. No. I think to some small degree they may be able to use it, but it's nowhere near as effective. So those calories they're not getting used as energy. That's why you don't drink before you work out. You're not going to drink before you work out to give you energy to burn. Like how when I wake up in the morning, I do like rice cakes with like, it probably has a ton of calories in it, but it's like it gives me the energy that my body needs to burn off the workout that I'm about to do. So if I just swig a handle of whatever,
that's disgusting.
Before I work out
at 5:30 in the morning.
At 5:30 in the morning, I'm not going to do.
That's the last thing you'd go for.
Yeah, and I think the last thing about alcohol in terms of progress in the gym, I would say, at least that I found when I'm drinking, I tend to make bad food choices. And
like
I think,
the night that you're drinking?
Yeah.
Or when you're drinking?
Yeah, I just tend to, everything just sounds good to eat. Like, oh, pizza, yeah. Like, oh, like nachos, yeah. Oh, burgers, yeah. Like, oh, everything. So just.
One of each.
Everything, yeah, everything sounds good to eat. So I think a lot of the time, just on a diet basis, like aside from alcohol, like just with the consumption of alcohol comes like those variables of like, you're probably somewhere, you're going to go to Whataburger afterwards, you're going to go somewhere else.
Oh, if I'm spending a night out and if I don't get fries from like Wendy's, McDonald's or something like that, like it's a wasted night. Like I have to. So, and then I just do better the next day. So that's the good thing. It's like if you do choose to partake in alcohol, which is fine, do what you want. Don't be hard on yourself. Like make the decision, make what's best for yourself, make the right decision for you. Don't let anyone make you do one thing or the other, and just do it for you. And if you're going to enjoy it, let yourself enjoy it. And then where can you go from here though? Knowing all of this information, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. This is so bad. So where do we go from here?
I just think like what we've done in every other topic, like sleep, if you don't get the right hours of sleep, or you can't all the time, that's fine. Or if you don't want to, like there are some things that you can do to help mitigate those effects that alcohol has. Obviously alcohol is a toxin. So the best way to not do it is to not ingest the toxin. But obviously there are external factors. Like we like going out with people sometimes, like when we go back home,
and there's a lot of things friends, that are toxins.
Weddings, things like that. And there are a lot of other things that are toxins and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say just skipping out on like outings with your friends and stuff is a solution. So we're going to give you some interesting and some fun, not fun, but just some
super fun,
some super fun, we're going to give you some just tips, to just help potentially with just depending on how much you drink, and obviously just ways to like mitigate how or not kind of mitigate, but just to help restore your body maybe after you're drinking.
Just make yourself feel better afterwards, and like preparing for it and things like that. So go ahead.
So the first thing, of course, is obviously moderate drinking. In the Journal of American Medical Association, the Journal of American Medical Association.
That's a hard one.
The Journal of American Medical Association. They looked up about 107 studies. They try, like we were saying before, all the factors. They try to control as many factors as they could, such as just like socioeconomic income too, just because like what you're able to ingest in your body is kind of based upon what you're able to afford.
Right,
because
absolutely. Healthy food is expensive.
Mm-hmm. So like weight, age, men versus women. And they actually did a study, which was very interesting. And they compared people who didn't drink at all versus people who drank low to moderately. So moderately, like we said before, was women 1 to 2 drinks a day, men 2 to 3, or 7 a week for women, 14 for men.
Yeah.
And what they basically found was that there was no cause of an increased risk of all-cause mortality, which basically means all-cause mortality is that because of like whatever the circumstances that you choose to do in your life, like you have a crappy diet, you drink alcohol, you're higher at risk for certain diseases and certain like things that would cause you to die. They found no correlation between people who drank moderately and people who didn't drink at all. So
that's fascinating. There's that threshold.
Yeah. So they were
like the moderate versus the
exactly.
high.
So the people who drank moderately were not at an increased risk of developing like certain diseases or something that would cause them to die, which is pretty interesting.
So if you've been crushed up until this point of the podcast, this gives you a little hope.
Just know that, exactly. So like you can have those 1 to 2 drinks. I know even a lot of podcasters who are like very, very health, nutrition. I think Ben Greenfield, he mentioned that he drinks about 1 drink a night or something like that.
Red wine or something a night.
Yeah. So it's really not like the end of the world.
Right. Absolutely.
And ultimately you got to realize that, like we said before, alcohol is a toxin. And so it makes sense that drinking moderately, it's just a buildup of toxins in your body. So if you don't build up the toxins in your body, then those effects won't be as severe. But it was interesting because a similar study that they did for that kind of that moderate range of drinking, if you're to pass that threshold, so like 4 or 5 drinks a day or like 15 plus drinks a week, I think it's like 15 to 24. It's like I'm just kidding. It's like a 35 to 45. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. They found a 35% like increase in like effects that it can have like on your body for like different types of like damage to the different systems of your body. So,
fascinating.
Yeah. So we want to talk about how to excrete those toxins next.
Absolutely. So they're in your body. Okay. What are you going to do about it? There are definitely ways that you can help excrete them from your body to make you feel better. So the first thing, obviously, drinking plenty of water. You want to flush them out. You want to get everything flowing. So just chugging water, 100%. And it'll help you actually if you add some electrolytes in there, just that extra salt, the things with the minerals in them. That will be amazing and help you stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Eating whole foods rather than super high sugar, high processed foods. Just eat clean. Eat as clean as you can. It'll make you feel better. Just getting all those natural nutrients instead of drinking like a greens juice, like a powdered greens, and being like, okay, I'm good for the day. I'll go get McDonald's now. You know, take care of yourself. One thing that I love to do, sweat out. I mean, I love to sweat in a sauna every single day if I could, but especially after a day or a night of drinking, go get all those toxins flushed out. Drink tons of water, get your electrolytes, and then just go sweat it all out in the sauna. Infrared sauna, that is the way to go. I absolutely love it. So you don't have to go on a crazy detox plan. Don't go drinking and be like, okay, juice cleanse for the next 3 days. Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm going crazy. Only salads for the next 2 days, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, no, calm down. It's going to be okay. Just take a couple of days to focus on yourself and do what makes you feel good, as always. And get back into your routine.
This kind of correlates, but it reminds me of when I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about how basically carbs, like, you know how people say that you eat carbs like while you're drinking and it'll like mitigate the effects of how that's
soaking it up like a sponge.
Soaking it up like a sponge is actually not true.
It's not true.
Because it's already into your bloodstream. Like the alcohol is already done. Like you eating a piece of bread or something after you've been drinking, it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't.
It's doing it before. It's having that like good foundation before you start drinking that actually makes a difference.
Yeah. I wonder what the neuroscience behind that is, because for me personally, it's like, I would love fries right now, but I honestly think it's more of a comfort thing. Like I really think my brain's like, okay, I would love this, so I'm going to get it. I don't, like you said, it's not proven that it actually absorbs. So very, very fascinating.
Yeah.
Gut.
So yeah, so the next one, this is just really quick because understanding that the alcohol affects your gut. I think one thing, and we talked about this in an earlier episode, just about even with diet, how fixing leaky gut, having fermented foods is good. So like kimchi, things like that, to help produce the good kombucha to help produce or help build up that good
pre and probiotics.
Yeah, good bacteria in your gut. So
for sure,
doesn't hurt to have some fermented foods or kombucha or something.
No, not at all. Yeah. So my personal favorite thing to do, like I've mentioned before, I've mentioned a lot of electrolytes. And my favorite brand of electrolytes is called Element. It is spelled LMNT. And they have the 3 minerals in their products plus 0 sugar, which I love. So it's my go-to even on a daily basis. Like even if I'm flying, because you know that dehydrates you, if I'm going to do a good workout where I know I'm going to be sweating, or after a night of drinking or the day of drinking, I like to hydrate myself. So I absolutely love it. But speaking of the company Element, we are actually going to take a little break and talk about a giveaway that we are doing that is sponsored by them.
Yeah, it's awesome. And they actually were able to send us some goodies too.
Yes, absolutely.
Some salty surprises.
As they said, they're so funny. I love it. Everything is like
it's like a salt
AF.
pun.
It's so funny.
It's pretty funny.
It. But go look them up. Go follow them. They're great.
So they sent us some stuff. We love Element. It's very good. Like Camryn was saying, just for electrolytes.
It tastes amazing.
Tastes absolutely amazing. And it's better for you. Honestly, it's better for you than Gatorade. 100%. And Gatorade, I know people like to drink for the electrolytes, but there's so much sugar in Gatorade. There's so much sugar.
The food coloring and like the dyes that they put in there are horrifying.
That's why we like Element, because it's just like more pure. It has those straight electrolytes, salts that you need for your body to recover.
Potassium, sodium, and magnesium.
Yeah, potassium, sodium, and magnesium. So you want to tell them a little bit about the giveaway that we're doing this week?
So we are going to pick 3 of our podcast listeners, which is exciting. Honestly, normally it's just 1, but we are allowed to pick 3. And Element is going to send the 3 winners a variety pack. And that will include 12 packets total. And the flavors are citric, raspberry, orange, and then my personal favorite, watermelon. So in order to enter the giveaway, you have to be following us on Instagram at the Rooted Lifestyle Podcast, and following us on TikTok. Rooted Lifestyle Podcast is just a bonus. So if you do that as it doesn't hurt.
We're a lot more active on Instagram than we are on TikTok.
We're working on it. It's hard work. But what you need to do is follow us on Instagram, like we said. Follow us on TikTok if you want. But then you have to tag 3 friends on our page. We just want to kind of get our name out there a little bit more, get people to know what we're about. And then we will be posting more details on our Instagram. So don't freak out if you've forgotten already.
So we'll send out a post just with the rules as well.
Yes.
But yeah, it's really exciting that we'll be able to partner with such a big brand already and be able to give you guys some of the stuff that we take pretty regularly. So,
and that's the cool thing, is we're really actually passionate about it, because I feel like a lot of sponsors are like, okay, love this brand, but it's like genuinely thanks to my mom, I have been doing Element, using their stuff for years, and so they're truly the best. Justus loves them. I love them.
And even if they didn't give us the stuff for free, we would still buy their stuff.
100%, absolutely 100%.
Yeah,
I'm really excited. So go to the Instagram for all the details, but we're excited to share this with you guys.
Yeah. So I think pivoting now into talking about what we do. You know, you had mentioned our honeymoon in the vacation.
A silly little time.
Just,
all inclusive, man. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do? That's.
I'm going to excrete those toxins.
Yeah.
By drinking tons of water.
Tons of water. All you can drink water.
Not exactly.
So typically I say 1 drink a week, but that's probably very rare.
I would say that's your max.
I don't think I'm not the type of person who comes back from work and like pours myself a glass of whiskey on the rocks.
Well, neither am I.
I'm not saying you.
A lot of people are age.
But I'm saying like I don't think I'll drink casually. Like honestly too, and it's not even the thing with alcohol. I think I just don't like drinking things that are not water when I eat.
You're a food guy.
So I need to focus on my food 100%. So
yes.
I think that's the main reason why, but also it's just like for me, I personally don't love the taste of alcohol. Like I said before, that's why I stick to like the other like fruitier, sugary drinks that don't taste like alcohol.
For sure.
But like on special occasions like weddings, vacation, honeymoon, I probably do. I do a couple of drinks. Like if it's like on a wedding night, I'll do a couple. If it's on our honeymoon for the week, I'll do a couple of a day.
Right.
But those are like pretty far few between. But
everything in moderation.
Yeah, and it's also I don't know. I'm not a big wine person either. And I know a lot of people say that a glass of red wine a day is good for you, but that's actually not true either, because
it's not true.
Well, it's true to an extent, but people say it's good for you because that's antioxidants, and that's the antioxidants are from the grapes. It's not from the alcohol. So just eat grapes if you want. So.
Yeah. There's also just a lot to do with wine. It's like you can buy organic wine, you can buy like sulfate free wine, and there's just a lot that goes into it, but you can definitely get a healthier wine. Yeah, but still, there's toxins in it.
And what is your typical standard Miss Movements and Margarita?
I definitely have more. Yes, very true. I definitely have more of a balance than you do. I would say my 80-20 is pretty tried and true with drinking, but it all comes down to if I have plans. So I'm a social drinker. So if we're going out to dinner, I may get a drink. If we're going out to a nice dinner or like a Mexican restaurant, I'm there. I'm getting a drink. Gonna do it. Gotta do it. But if I'm going out with the girls, I may if we go to lunch and then dinner, I may have like 3 drinks during the day and like no more during the weekend.
That's
but it's
fine.
Honestly just if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna go walk across the street to Chelsea Corner, get a couple drinks by myself and then come back home. Like that just doesn't sound fun to me because I'm not drinking. Like
it's for the social aspect.
It really is, which sounds horrible.
But I think honestly that's what most people do.
Yeah,
honestly.
I agree.
I mean, there are some people who do like the taste of alcohol, and that's fine, and have those like palate taste buds. Right. But I think for most people, especially people our age, it's mostly just social.
Right, absolutely. But I would also say on Tuesdays, I will be at a margarita happy hour, and I will be ingesting many margaritas because I love them. Okay, anyways, what do you guys say next?
I think kind of wrapping this all up, I know we gave you guys a lot of stuff on why alcohol is bad. I wish we could like say that there are some like good effects. I mean, the social aspect, I guess, is a good like
go be with your friends.
External factor that doesn't really have to do with alcohol, but just
I would say there's probably more cons than pros that have happened in people's lives. But just be careful. And
when deciding how much you want to drink, just like take into consideration what we were saying, the difference between moderate and excessive. Yeah. But a number of factors go into it, like we mentioned: history of family drinking, addictive traits, age, diet.
Yes.
A bunch of things, but ultimately, like we said, alcohol is a toxin. But just like any toxin, it damages your brain and your body when you have too much of it. Right. So I think the best thing you can do is still have fun, like we said, but just understand that moderate drinking will set you up for success the best.
Right. And our hope for this podcast episode was really just so you guys
understand.
So you're knowledgeable about it. So if you know this information and you still go and do it, 100% great. Just I want you guys to know what it can do to your body.
Because you shouldn't shame yourself too if you have a couple of drinks, because like even those studies showed that the person who doesn't drink at all versus the person who drinks a couple of times, there's no difference. So I think you can be comfortable. You don't have to beat yourself up over saying, oh, should I go get this drink and stuff? It'll totally destroy everything that I've done.
Do not think that.
Obviously, like we said before, it depends on the person. But yeah.
Yeah. So we hope you guys liked the episode. We loved researching it and everything like that.
Yeah. So go get some margs with your friends.
Let's go get some margs.
1 to 2 margs.
Just 1 to 2, maybe 3. 3 max.
No, it's 1 to 2.
For men, it's 3 max.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, anyways, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.